Alright, so welcome back. Today we're going to try to tackle this front suspension piece. It's going to be a little bit weird, but you know, kind of is what it is. As you can see here, we're going to start off with this single piece of tube to get us kind of where we're going, concepts, and that type of thing. We'll put a quick little tack in it. That way it'll hold it somewhat still while we mess around with other stuff. So let's just get straight to business and see if we can get a front suspension on this thing. Alright, so basically we got her as close as we could with the measuring tape. We got it kind of laid out at 48 inches from that cross member section. So it looks pretty decent. We're going to grab the welder and just put a quick tack in there. So we'll be able to take a few more measurements from it, make sure we're square and straight and such, but we just need it to not run around on us. Quick little something, keep that from running away. A little bit back from 48. I mean, looks pretty close to me. All right, so roughly speaking, we are in the ballpark here. Our arm piece is going to mount somewhere up along, somewhere like in here. So that will be that. Tire is going to be a little bit behind that bar. So approximately kind of where it sits right there. So we're basically looking at a wheelbase similar to that. Now for our next stop, we're going to make sure to measure how wide the rear section is between the two bolts of that cross member. Then we'll measure it out on our new little cross guy here, and we'll have something to kind of go by. All right, center of that guy. The center of this guy looks like about 37 and a half. So I'll go 37 and a half. All right, so I got this bar zapped in a little bit better after verifying it's straight, even, parallel, triangulated, and everything with the back section. So to do that, I went from the back bolts from those A-arms and measured forward to the bar and made sure they're both the same on each side, which makes it parallel, and then found the center of this bar here and measured from each corner of those bolts to that center and came up with the exact same amount. So that means we're centered, we're even, we're parallel. So we at least got somewhere in that general vicinity. Now, one thing to note, my crossbars here might be a wee bit off from center, but it doesn't really matter because those are kind of superficial stuff. But what really matters is make sure your suspension is straight. So, our next spot is we're going to have to kind of make something to bolt the A-arm to that bolts onto that bar that runs across. So, it's time to enter the pile of pieces and parts and see what we can scrounge up. Alright, so I set out to do some thinking and I came up with adding a second bar. I just couldn't rectify the whole single bar offset mounting, so dual bar, gotta be the way to go. Now to grab some cardboard and do a little cardboard drafting. Of course, we want this to line up right about there and right about there. Right about there. Now I'll come in a couple inches. Draw another line. Alright, now we got something that runs even with the tubes over there. So let's flop her down here. Grab a little triangle here. Let's draw out the line. One there. Square up this side. That. Grab the blade. Alright, should then have something that resembles that. So now, when we have this guy, we'll get this plate, shove that straight through there. Now I'll have that there. And then we'll throw this thicker plate on top of that to be welded in with that plate. That way it'll strengthen it all up and we'll be good to go. Then we'll just have to take probably just a piece of this flat and we'll just cut it, weld it, bang it to fit for the bottom section. Since the top section will have all of the strength to it, bottom section is just going to be there to retain the whole shebang when the bushing goes to heck. At some point I'll probably have to change out those bushings as well, but hey, that's for a future me. Anyways, time to scribe this out on some steel. I got some 3/16 over here that should do pretty good. tie that in with that 1/4 inch circle, will be money. As you can see, we got the plates cut out, and we can pretty much just grab the welder and start going to town. We'll just put in some couple solid small burns in with the MIG, and once we have this cage all torn apart, we'll hit it with some of the TIG as well to just make sure we get a lot of it burned in real nice. So I guess let's just fire up the welder and put a couple zaps in there. A good couple bogs down in it. So we just need to come down and find our line. Alright, so in a perfect world, one, I'd probably have a clean desk to work on. Two, I would probably have a lathe that something this big actually fits in. But since I don't, I got a nice hole saw that's about the right size. And then we just take our drill and you use that as a guide. And now we've got a place to start drilling. Ain't that something? I mean, they're probably not going to be 100% perfect, but this isn't going to be a spinning item, so it's going to be good enough for what we're doing. Now I'll just have to finish hogging these things out to the right bore for the bolts, and we'll be on our way. Alright, so we got this going together pretty well. We just need to hog out these holes just a little bit bigger. basically saying, should be able to just throw that there. A little something like that. All right, we got the front section kind of built. Now we're just gonna have to come back here to the rear mount, probably build ourselves a couple mounts. Looks like we should just be able to build right off the edge of the frame section. So we should be set on that aspect. I got the tabs cut out, built them the same way I did the shock tabs in the back. Now we're just going to bolt them down. I got this front one welded. I just want to bolt this thing down so that way I know I have similar alignment with that other tab. It's like, since we're dealing with a moving, or not necessarily moving, but an angled frame rail, you can't just expect it to fit properly. So crank them down, then you know you're in the same ballpark that you should be. Alright, now after we got that, we'll lightly align them, then we just light up the welder. All right, so now that we got those things installed, we can throw our spindle arms on and mount up the tires just to get a good look at it before we start in on the rest of the cage. So we got something to mount the top of the knuckles to. Okay, I think that's starting to look good now. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Kind of my first look at how we're gonna get things set up. It'd be kind of an interesting concept to be almost eye level with the top of the tire. But hey, that's pretty neat. So, I'm guessing that's gonna do it for today. So, anyways, next time, we'll probably work on some more of the cage. We need to get dash bar hoop thing set up so we can get steering wheel where we want it and the whole rest of the cage section. That way we have a spot forward where we can mount these knuckles. They're actually pretty high, so we'll probably have a pretty decent incline on those control arms. And that'll be another fun little project. Anyways, thanks for stopping by and watching. Hopefully, we'll get to see you again later.